Hello everyone. A special delivery arrived freshly this morning. Yes, it's a game about a delivery service. Now, I know we've had quite a few of those sorts of games, usually put in the cozy game category. So I was at first not overly tempted, really. But what made me sit up and say, oh yes, I would like to have a look at this, is the artist who did the character illustrations for Calamity Angels. Calamity Angels, special delivery. I'll just get the cellophane off. Tricky one, very tightly packaged. So here you have it. The Calamity Angels game. I've got the PS5 version, available also for PS4 and the Switch. There's also a PC version forthcoming for Steam, but we don't have a release date for that as yet. As always, thank you very much to Idea Factory, who sent through this Plus edition of Calamity Angels. So what I've got here is not a limited edition. It is called a Plus version. So a smaller affair suitable for a somewhat smaller game. And that's another reason why I wanted to do it, because this seemed to me an ideal game to fit in between playing much bigger, more time-intensive RPGs. So on the back we have the a postal stamp and address, etc. I will show you the game and my review comments, of course, in the second half of the video, so I won't talk much about the game itself here in the unboxing, except that I want to comment on the age rating, because that could be important not just for you adult players but for any children in your immediate family. So as you can see, I've got the European version here. The American version is age-rated T14, which is 13. The European PEGI rating is similar at 12, but interestingly, the German rating, which always does its own thing, USK, is 6. So for them to allow a lower age, I think, is interesting and noteworthy, because I actually think that a rating of 12-13 is possibly a bit on the high side. It cuts off that age group of from 9 or 10 years onwards, who, in my view, and that's my personal opinion, would be perfectly fine with this game. So that would be roughly the equivalent of a US rating of E10+, which I think would have been absolutely fine. I can't think of anything in the game that would require a much higher rating. But there we are. So I just thought I'd point that out to you in case you're looking for something suitable for that age group. And there will be more in the second half of the video that will enable you to see how suitable you think the game is for younger players. Because I'm convinced that this game was designed specifically to appeal to a whole range of age groups. So not just adults, but younger as well. So this is the front of the cardboard sleeve, and inside you get an art book and a small pack of postcards. It has to be postcards, it's a delivery service. What kind of delivery service, you're asking? Is it one of those boring ones? The official description for the game says, lead a ragtag group of kooky carriers. Kooky, they definitely are a weird lot. In this delivery service RPG, as they protect and trek packages through treacherous terrains, unruly monsters, and meet other sneaky delivery service teams ready to stake their claim as the best delivery service in the region. A new adventure awaits with every package. And I have to say that is true. The question is, with a smaller, i.e. shorter game, is there a story at all? And I'm happy to say there actually is. Yes, there are dark and nefarious forces at work in the All-Cotras region. So here we are. This is the complete team. Suitable for a smaller game, there are only 6 main playable characters. A team is always composed of 3, so you've basically got 2 teams you can work with. You start with one, a slightly more basic one, and then you get a slightly more advanced group. And here is another very cute collage. So on the right, that's probably going to be your left, there's the manager of the team, Yuri. Yuri is new to the job. He doesn't take part in the team as a combat player, but Yuri is very important, and it's easier to show you later with the footage what Yuri's job is. A very crucial one. That final postal stamp. And here's the full team again. This time at the center you have the 2 Yuri character styles you can choose from. So very nice cards, a nice colour reproduction, and the style is matte. So now the art book. It's hardback. I'm expecting it'll be very nice because I have had plenty of art books from Idea Factory, and I can't recall that one has ever disappointed me. There is no spoiler alert to worry about, so I can show you plenty. And the book contains the characters, chibi characters, monsters, delivery items, event CGs, backgrounds, world map, and concept art. And the total page number is 52. By the standards of our time, it is a generous art book. So here you see the 2 Yuris, and importantly, that little flying postbox there, that is Poten, the post fairy. And Poten is not just a cute sidekick. This wee flying postbox is important together with Yuri at the final stage of important and boss fights.
Poten, give me strength! Let's
2 characters in your starting team. Somnia, the ever sleepy asleep one, is the frontline tank / attacker. And Sulia is the healer, but also has some rather neat attack type abilities. Ivris and Numero are the 2 mage type damage dealers. Numero is more an alchemist, and Ivris combines fist combat with magical abilities. They are both extremely useful, and you will see more of that in the second half in my footage. And finally, Selma is another tank / attacker like Somnia, but she comes with your second team. And Luminous is the final character you get. She's an interesting combo of archer with very useful skills and a bit of an idol for support. These are additional non-playing characters, important for running the Delivery Guild. And I'm hoping by now you have seen the distinctive art style of Kei Nanameda, or Nanameda Kei in Japanese, and you will probably know or recognize this art style from quite a few other games which Nanameda has done mainly for Idea Factory. Put a few of those up on the screen. Characters from the other delivery services who play an important part in the story. And even more, including the mysterious girl Shiroka, who plays a crucial part. And the other postal fairies from the other delivery services, or couriers or carriers. Here are the chibi versions as you see them in-game when you're playing in combat. Monster designs. I am very particular about monster designs. They are so important. I think these are good ones. I like them. More monsters. And I think you can see from especially those black ones what I was referring to when I said there is a darker side to the story. But never so dark that it would really, frighten kids or make them feel uncomfortable, no. The emphasis is definitely on cheerful and humorous. You have to transport a whole variety of items, and fitting them into your delivery bag is actually quite tricky at times. Yes, that's part of the game. Here are event CGs, backgrounds, the world map. You slowly uncover it region by region as you go through the chapters. Lots more illustrations, concept art. I have to admit the Mad Alchemist is one of my favourites. He really is suitably weird, but also sometimes really quite reasonable. Yes. Somnia with her sleeping habit will test your patience. Oh yes. And the timid paladin is another one you have to have a lot of patience with. Now this is some concept art that is kind of hard to explain without knowing how the game works, but basically there are some special skills that mean you transform a bit, and there are quite a few of those. And unlocking them could become quite an addictive kind of undertaking. And that's the final page. So a very appealing art book reflecting the talents of Kei Nanameda. And that's it. A small but nicely presented Plus edition. Let's dive into the game and let me explain a bit more what it's all about, what I liked, and what didn't quite appeal to me. As always, my very personal impressions. There we go. Welcome to Calamity Angels Special Delivery, developed by COPPA. COPPA is often associated with innuendo. However, they actually do quite a number of games where that is not an issue, and Calamity Angels most assuredly is a game that I would consider child-friendly. I haven't completed absolutely every delivery. That is not necessary to complete the game, so I can't be 100% certain about what might be lurking somewhere. But I'd be extremely surprised if there was anything that would be considered unsuitable for children aged about 10 upwards. In my view, the art style and presentation straight away convey the impression of what I would call a wholesome game. Game settings are kept to a simple minimum, and there is no difficulty setting. One size fits all. I completed the main story comfortably in around 16 to 18 hours. The 9th chapter then allows you to continue discovering extra content, whether little side stories or 100% completion of area and monster coverage. So this is a nice short game that requires very little grinding. Once I realised that, I cherry-picked the deliveries I wanted to do based on the reward you receive, as well as interest, etc. The game's structure relies heavily on the chapters. While this game is classified as an RPG, I would qualify that a bit. There isn't much in the way of individual stats you'd be working on and upgrading. It's the team as a whole that levels up, and you level up with each completed chapter. It's very straightforward. So that dilutes the RPG label a little bit for me. However, on the other hand, it definitely is very RPG-like when it comes to the combat style, which is straightforward, turn-based.
You guys sure are something. Can I really keep this group together? No. We've taken the first step as a team. Just gotta keep doing my best as the leader.
The team is officially called Cutie Angels. You'll find out why they're stuck with the label of Calamity Angels. I need to mention a very small but noticeable performance gripe on the PS5, which surprised me. Every change of screen brings on this short delay. I think for a game like this, the transition should be much snappier and practically seamless. And I am hoping they'll introduce a patch for this once the game is released. For a relatively short RPG, I was surprised that the story, background and setting was nicely detailed. Who doesn't love ancient ruins? And the whole Omoi power feature is nicely dovetailed into the types of enemies our team is facing. I actually think the world building based on this postal ruins has potential for being fleshed out a bit more. I certainly wouldn't mind diving into that kind of world in a maybe slightly more elaborate RPG. The delivery system is straightforward and streamlined, but there are features that require both patience and luck, and also a bit of strategy and puzzle solving. This is a small, easy map, and it's not difficult plotting a path from arrival point to ultimate destination. The tricky thing to negotiate are the various buffs and debuffs, events, enemies that occupy every square on the map. Do you have enough willpower left to maybe circle around an enemy you want to avoid? Or to make a little detour to a treasure spot where you'd like to pick something up? Those are risk and reward decisions that make the map traversal fun. Spinning the compass for a few steps across the map. I was worried that this would get old fast, but to my surprise, it worked well. Probably because there's an element of tension with trying to plot your path and gaining the desired number of steps. A lot of items become available that will help you to manipulate those steps even further. But the spinning wheel itself does not easily work in your favour.
I'll shut you up with my fist! Maybe I'll just take a little nap. Time to get to where we go!
Time for a quick tutorial with Pull 10. I have to say straight away that this reading expressions thing is something I never properly mastered. Maybe I'm just bad at reading faces and moods, or maybe sometimes the character did what they wanted anyway, regardless of the mood I saw on their face. For example, Somnia will decide she wants to doze off, and it's honestly very, very rare to see her perked up enough to actually feel like swinging her sword. In practice, though, I found it actually didn't matter that much, even if I picked a command she didn't want to do, because it simply means that
not in the mood. You're dosing on
the character will revert to extensive self-buffing and buffing of allies. This, of course, helps enormously with being able to sustain the multiple attacks from the enemies. This is the core feature of the game, and if you want to have fun with the game, you simply need to find your own way of making the most of this system. There is, of course, a strong element of humour in this approach of characters constantly disobeying you and simply doing what they want to do. And I assume that's why the combat was programmed in this way. This point also feeds into my earlier assessment of this being a game suitable for younger players. Mages will be your most reliable damage dealer simply because they are in the mood most often, whereas your tanks will have the lowest attack rate due to their fickle mood. When they do finally attack, however, it can be pretty spectacular. In a way, you could say the game slyly inverts the regular RPG stereotypes of the powerful, reliable tank knight and the fussy mage whose attack is not terribly strong and takes forever to build up. While I appreciated all those in-jokes, I have to say that for me personally they wore a bit thin after a while. Let's have a quick look at the special skills that unlock throughout the game for the characters. The build-up and execution is painfully slow for most of them, and even at 2.5 times speed, I thought they still took up a considerable chunk of time. The skill attack itself is fine. I just needed a setting switch where you could simply skip the complete animation.
That felt great!
Numero's special attack is not only slow, even at full speed, it's overkill because it contains at the end a kind of slot machine minigame that rather tested my patience. Apart from the intriguing reference to me which I'll talk about more shortly. This battle is a rare example of having all 3 party members active and fighting, not asleep or doing something else unexpected. Somnia the tank soaks up attacks, as she should, while Numero prepares a potent medicine for sandworms, while Yuri can do some healing or other ministrations at the end of each turn. And Sulia, more excuses. Calamity Angels reminded me a bit of a Nintendo game, Miitopia.
And just imagine the possibilities!
Miitopia has far more features where individual actions are concerned, but the humorous approach and the distinctive combat style could possibly have served as an inspiration for Calamity Angels. There is in fact one reference to me in the combat. I'm thinking in particular of the inclination of team members to suddenly not be in the mood, or to wander off and do something different, or to fall asleep, or to pull out a special skill as a surprise move. I'm speaking from memory here, having played Miitopia on my 3DS many years ago. But I think the balance of having team members suddenly decide to do their own thing, in other words, you as the player don't have control, that was handled and balanced more to my liking in Miitopia, whereas in Calamity Angels you can sometimes feel pummeled by the forces of a random decision-making that the programming or AI foists on the team members. In Calamity Angels you have to learn to live with the constant random decision-making by your teams, which requires that you adopt a different kind of strategy for survival than in a game like Miitopia, where the occasional quirky refusal to oblige seldom scuppers your overall tactics. There is one more important mechanic I want to point out, and that is Yuri's special skill for dealing with the Omoi-kurai, the enemies that exemplify the importance of Omoi power in this world. Your 3 team members cannot defeat this enemy on their own. Final intervention is needed by Yuri and significantly Po-10. The Omoi-kurai can be a real headache in the earlier part of the game, but later on I actually found them easier to deal with.
So we can get back to treasure hunting. I follow my own instincts. You better brace yourself. Take this. Go get him, Yuri! Everyone, leave this to me! All set, let's go!
It's postal stamp time.
Putin, give me strength! Take this! Nice!
Note the significant amount of Omoi power you gained. A few final observations. The only important influence you have over your character's progression is choosing their equipment. You will be chasing money early on in particular to achieve those upgrades, which, as in any RPG, are always crucial. Skills you will acquire automatically as you progress with each chapter. You'll end up with a whole laundry list, and there is no way of organising or prioritising these skills. Everything is kept reasonably simple and easy to administer, but that also brings with it less control, of course. And a bit of a bugbear of mine, eyeless faces. All the delivery clients look like that, and I find it just a wee bit creepy. In closing, let me just say about the dialogue that at times it's fine, but can be a bit on the bland side. The banter likewise can be sometimes bland, sometimes really funny, but then you also come across real gems, like when Numero opens up a bit about his cloak, Numeji. But this is a side story giving you just a little bit more insight, so I won't show you too much. I hope this has given you a reasonable overview of the main features of the game and my own impressions. Let me know if you think you might want to pick up this game sometime. Before you leave, let me just mention that there is a really, really nice interview with Kei Nanameda, and I'm putting the link to the YouTube video in the description below. Well worth watching, quite a short one, but the inimitable style and humour of Nanameda is very much in evidence. And that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. Please keep well. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye-bye.